I know that success doesn't come from a balanced approach, it comes from an obsession. If you're not obsessed, you're just another average person, drifting through life with unfulfilled potential. The winners are the ones who pour every ounce of energy into what they care about. This is the power of obsession, and it's the reason some people make millions while others remain stuck in mediocrity. If you're ready to learn how to harness that power, then it's time to get obsessed. Obsession is the driving force behind excellence. It's the difference between merely being good at something and being world-class. When you are obsessed with a particular craft, business, or goal, it becomes your entire focus, your purpose. It's not just about having an interest. It's about dedicating yourself fully, pouring every ounce of energy into becoming the best. Most people are content with being average, but if you want to stand out, you need to become obsessed with your pursuit. The idea of obsession often carries a negative connotation. People think it's unhealthy or extreme. But obsession, when applied correctly, is actually the key to mastering any skill. Think about the top performers in any field. Athletes, entrepreneurs, musicians, or artists. They didn't get to where they are by simply dabbling in their craft or occasionally practicing when it was convenient. No, they became obsessed with their goals. They dedicated themselves to getting better every single day, relentlessly pursuing mastery without distraction. Their obsession wasn't something that happened overnight, but a long-term commitment to improving at all costs. This relentless pursuit doesn't leave room for mediocrity. Obsession demands perfection, or at least the closest thing to it. You start noticing the smallest details that others overlook because you care about every aspect of your craft. You're constantly asking yourself, how can I improve this? What's the next step? How do I get better? That's how excellence is born. Obsession forces you to seek out new methods, strategies, and techniques, always refining and improving. The problem with most people is that they lack this level of commitment. They're interested in something, but they don't have that burning desire to be the best. Instead, they focus on instant gratification or achieving just enough to get by. They stop when things get tough, when they don't see immediate results, or when distractions start to pull them away. Obsession, however, won't let you quit. It won't let you be satisfied with a small win or a minor achievement. It demands that you go deeper, that you push harder, and that you never settle for mediocrity. Being obsessed doesn't mean working 24/7 or sacrificing every aspect of your life, but it does mean that you're always thinking about your craft. You're always finding ways to improve and stay ahead. It becomes part of your identity, and it drives everything you do. The obsession creates a sense of urgency, a constant drive to push boundaries and outperform everyone else. Excellence doesn't happen by accident. It's the result of obsession. It's about committing to the process, embracing the struggle, and dedicating your time and energy to achieving something extraordinary. People who achieve greatness are not merely interested in their goals, they're obsessed with them. And this obsession is what leads to excellence. Mediocrity thrives in comfort zones, and comfort is the enemy of progress. When you're comfortable, you're not challenging yourself. And when you're not challenging yourself, you're not growing. Obsession forces you to push past the limits of comfort and forces you to seek something greater. It doesn't let you settle for good enough because good enough is the fast track to mediocrity. The vast majority of people are content with the status quo. They go through the motions, doing just enough to get by, avoiding discomfort, and avoiding anything that might challenge their sense of security. They follow routines that don't rock the boat, keeping things safe and predictable. But the harsh truth is, this mindset only leads to one place: mediocrity. The problem with mediocrity is that it's comfortable. It's easy to stay in a state of mediocrity because there are no demands, no pressures, and no real risks. It's the place where most people find themselves trapped because they're afraid to step out and risk failure. Obsession, on the other hand, is all about discomfort. When you're obsessed with something, you are constantly putting yourself in situations that push you beyond your limits. You start doing things that make you uncomfortable because you understand that growth only comes from discomfort. This obsession demands that you face challenges, tackle difficult tasks, and embrace the struggle. It doesn't allow you to sit back and relax when things get tough. It pushes you to dig deeper and keep going, even when the odds are stacked against you. People who are obsessed with their goals understand that mediocrity isn't an option. They know that real success requires going beyond the ordinary, doing the work that others aren't willing to do, and making sacrifices that others won't make. This is why obsession is the key to breaking free from mediocrity. It forces you to look at your behavior, at your habits, and at your mindset and say, "This is not enough. I want more." Obsession drives you to become better because it demands that you go after something bigger than yourself. There is no room for excuses when you're obsessed. Mediocrity thrives on excuses. It allows you to justify why you didn't push harder, why you didn't give it your all, why you didn't take risks. Obsession kills excuses. It forces you to hold yourself accountable and to take responsibility for your own success. When you're obsessed, you stop blaming others for your failures or waiting for the perfect moment to take action. You realize that the only thing standing between you and greatness is your willingness to be uncomfortable and to keep pushing forward. So if you want to break free from mediocrity, you need to get obsessed. You need to be willing to face the discomfort of growth, the pain of sacrifice, and the risks of failure. Obsession forces you to step outside the safety of mediocrity and into the arena of greatness. And that's where the real magic happens. When you challenge yourself to be more than ordinary and to go after something extraordinary. Obsession is what creates consistency. It's easy to be motivated when things are going well, but true obsession keeps you going when motivation fades. Everyone has moments when they feel fired up and ready to conquer the world, but those moments don't last. They're fleeting. The real challenge comes in staying committed to the grind when things aren't exciting, when the novelty has worn off, and when progress feels slow. This is where obsession makes the difference. When you're obsessed, consistency isn't a choice, it's a necessity. Motivation is unpredictable. It comes and goes, and it's often dependent on external factors like mood, energy, or success. But obsession doesn't rely on motivation. It's a deep ingrained drive that forces you to show up day after day, regardless of how you feel. Obsession keeps you focused on the goal, no matter how monotonous or exhausting the journey may seem. It transforms discipline into a lifestyle, not just a task to check off the list. Consider the athletes who wake up at 4 a.m. for their workouts, or the entrepreneurs who stay up late working on their business plans. Their obsession doesn't allow them to be satisfied with simply completing the minimum. They don't wait for motivation to strike, they're too obsessed to stop. They understand that success doesn't come from a burst of effort, but from the relentless pursuit of their goals every single day. Obsession means showing up when it's hard, when it feels like nothing is happening, and when others are quitting. This consistency goes beyond just doing the work. It's about doing the work well day in and day out. Obsession drives you to improve in the smallest areas, to push your boundaries further, and to find ways to refine your process. It doesn't let you rest on your laurels even when you've made progress. It pushes you to keep going, to keep tweaking, and to keep evolving. The people who achieve great things are not necessarily the ones with the most talent or the best resources. They are the ones who stay consistent when others have given up. It's about building habits and routines that are so deeply ingrained that you don't think about whether you should work, you just do it. Consistency is what makes the difference between short-term success and long-term greatness. And obsession is the force that sustains it. Obsession is the engine that powers consistency. Without obsession, you might work hard for a while, but the effort will taper off when things get difficult. When you're obsessed, though, you embrace the challenge, push through the struggle, and show up every single day with the same energy and focus. That's how success is built. Not with bursts of motivation, but with the steady, persistent dedication that comes from being truly obsessed with your goal. Obsession is what makes you relentless. When you're obsessed with a goal, it becomes your driving force. Every setback, every failure, every obstacle becomes fuel to propel you forward. Obsession is the force that refuses to let you quit, no matter how tough things get. It transforms what might be a fleeting interest into an unshakable determination. Relentlessness is not about brute force or pushing yourself beyond human limits. It's about not accepting defeat as the final answer. When you're obsessed with something, you don't stop when things don't go as planned. You don't take no for an answer. Instead, you find a way to make things work. If the door closes, you find a window. If the window is locked, you break it open. Obsession makes you refuse to be stopped. Think about some of the greatest success stories of all time. Behind every achievement, there's a story of relentless pursuit. A story of someone who didn't let setbacks define them. Take, for example, Thomas Edison, who faced countless failures before he finally invented the light bulb. How many times did he fail? Hundreds? Thousands? Yet, he kept going, relentlessly focused on his goal. Each failure was a lesson, not a reason to quit. That's the mindset obsession creates. It's the belief that you're not working for today or tomorrow. You're working for something far bigger, and nothing can stand in your way. When you're obsessed, you treat setbacks as challenges to overcome, not obstacles that stop you in your tracks. Most people, when faced with failure, retreat. They allow a single rejection, a single mistake, to define their entire journey. They take it personally. They see the setback as an indictment of their worth. But obsession redefines failure. It doesn't see mistakes as personal reflections. It sees them as temporary hurdles to jump over on the way to success. Obsession gives you the power to turn rejection into motivation. When people tell you that you can't do something, when they tell you that your idea is crazy, obsession makes you want to prove them wrong. It creates a fire that burns hotter with every piece of negativity or doubt that's thrown your way. Rather than shrinking back in the face of adversity, obsession makes you lean into it, push through it, and keep going. It forces you to stay in the game when others have long since quit. But obsession isn't just about resisting defeat. It's about pushing yourself to do what others want. Relentlessness isn't about doing what's easy. It's about doing what others avoid. While the average person is content with making it through the day, checking off the minimum amount of tasks, obsession drives you to go above and beyond. It makes you ask, what can I do today that will get me closer to my goal? What can I improve? What can I sacrifice to make this happen? It compels you to dig deeper, to push harder, and to keep going, even when the path forward looks unclear. This relentless pursuit also comes with a cost. It means sacrificing comfort, convenience, and sometimes even relationships. You can't be obsessed with everything, so you choose what matters most and pour all your energy into it. You don't waste time on distractions or things that don't align with your goals. This is where many people falter. They try to be obsessed with too many things, and as a result, they spread themselves too thin. True obsession means narrowing your focus, committing to one thing, and giving it everything you have. Relentlessness is a byproduct of obsession because it forces you to keep going, no matter what. When you're obsessed with a goal, you don't give up when it gets hard. You don't let the roadblocks stop you. Instead, you find a way around them. You evolve. You adapt. You become the kind of person who turns every obstacle into an opportunity for growth. In the end, it's your relentless pursuit, driven by obsession, that leads to success. Obsession is what unlocks innovation. When you're obsessed with something, you don't just follow the path laid out before you. You seek new ways to improve, to solve problems, and to do things differently. This obsessive drive pushes you to look for opportunities that others might miss, creating breakthroughs that might not be possible if you were just casually interested. Innovation isn't born from doing things the same way everyone else does. It's born from the relentless pursuit of better, the desire to find a solution that no one has thought of yet. The obsession you feel for your craft forces you to approach problems with a fresh perspective. When you're obsessed, you start to see patterns and connections that others don't. You begin questioning the status quo, asking, why does it have to be this way? You refuse to accept limitations, and instead, you look for creative ways to overcome them. The more obsessed you become, the more focused your thinking is on finding new methods and techniques to advance your work. Think about some of the greatest innovators in history: Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. All of them share a common trait: obsession. They didn't just want to make a product or a service. They wanted to revolutionize an entire industry. Their obsession with their vision led them to constantly search for new ways to improve and innovate, to break the mold and push boundaries. They weren't satisfied with simply competing in the existing space. They were obsessed with creating something that would change the world. This drive for innovation comes from an internal motivation, not external factors. It's not about trying to get ahead of the competition or making more money, though those things often follow. It's about creating something that's unique, something that will leave a lasting impact. Innovation is born from obsession because obsession is what makes you focus on the details that others ignore. It forces you to put in the time and effort needed to discover what works and what doesn't. And it pushes you to try things that others would deem too risky or impossible. Obsession also gives you the courage to fail, and failure is often the key to innovation. When you're obsessed with a goal, you don't see failure as something to fear. You see it as an opportunity to learn. Every mistake is a lesson, a stepping stone toward a better solution. This willingness to fail and iterate is what leads to breakthroughs. Without obsession, many people would quit after a few setbacks. But obsession keeps you going, testing and refining until you find the right solution. It's this iterative process of constant experimentation that drives innovation forward. Take Elon Musk's ventures, for example. His obsession with space travel led him to create SpaceX, but it didn't come without countless failures. Rocket launches failed, engines malfunctioned, and many said his vision was impossible. But his obsession with space exploration and his belief in the potential to revolutionize the industry pushed him to innovate in ways that no one had imagined. Each failure became a lesson that led to the next. And eventually, it was his relentless obsession that allowed him to change the entire space industry. The same applies to any industry or field. Obsession forces you to push boundaries, think creatively, and try things others might not dare. It leads you to find solutions that have never been discovered and to make progress that seems impossible at first glance. Without obsession, innovation would be stifled by mediocrity and complacency. The most successful innovators are those who are willing to break the rules, challenge existing methods, and obsess over how they can make things better, faster, or more efficient. At its core, obsession drives you to find new ways to do things. It unlocks creativity, sparks curiosity, and ignites the kind of thinking that leads to true breakthroughs. Whether you're creating a product, building a business, or simply trying to solve a problem, it's your obsession that will push you to innovate, to discover the solutions no one else is seeing, and to create something that changes the game. Obsession teaches you to embrace failure. Most people view failure as something to avoid at all costs, something that defines them as incapable or inadequate. But when you're obsessed with a goal, failure becomes part of the process, not something to fear, but something to learn from and grow through. Obsession redefines failure. It's not a setback, but a stepping stone. It's the signal that you're pushing yourself beyond your limits, and that's exactly where growth happens. Without failure, there's no progress. Obsession forces you to lean into failure, learn from it, and use it to fuel your journey forward. When you're obsessed with something, you can't be deterred by a single failure. You know that achieving greatness doesn't happen overnight, and that every failure is just another step toward success. The key is understanding that failure isn't permanent. It's just a part of the process, one that everyone, no matter how successful, has to go through. The people who win are the ones who keep going despite the setbacks, who use failure as a lesson, not a reason to quit. Take the example of Thomas Edison, who famously failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. When asked about his many failed attempts, he didn't see them as failures at all. Instead, he viewed each one as a lesson. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That's the mindset obsession gives you. When you're obsessed with a goal, failure becomes part of the data you collect, not a reason to give up. You analyze it, learn from it, and adjust your approach. Obsession doesn't just help you bounce back from failure, it makes you stronger because of it. Every failure forces you to reevaluate your approach and strategy. When you're obsessed, you develop resilience, the ability to face setbacks, learn from them, and continue moving forward. You don't waste time feeling sorry for yourself or letting your failures define you. Instead, you focus on what's next and how to make the next attempt even better. This is what separates those who achieve their goals from those who don't, an unwillingness to let failure stop them. Another key aspect of obsession's role in embracing failure is that it helps you take calculated risks. Most people avoid failure by playing it safe, sticking to what they know, and avoiding challenges that might lead to mistakes. But when you're obsessed with your goal, you become willing to take risks because you understand that failure is simply part of the journey. Obsession drives unwavering focus, and focus is a critical component of achieving anything meaningful. In a world filled with distractions, obsession ensures that you stay locked in on your goals, regardless of what's happening around you. The problem with most people is that they allow themselves to be constantly pulled in different directions. They lose their focus, jumping from one thing to another, chasing fleeting interest or succumbing to external pressures. However, obsession acts as a filter, keeping your eyes fixed on what matters most and allowing nothing to derail your progress. Focus is the ability to block out distractions and dedicate yourself fully to a single task or objective. Most people fail at focus because they're not truly obsessed with what they're working toward. When you're obsessed, distractions no longer have the same power over you. The pull of social media, the temptation of short-term pleasures, or the urge to check out and take a break all lose their hold. Obsession means you've made a conscious decision that your goal is worth the sacrifice of everything else. The urge to scroll through your phone, check your notifications, or even engage in idle chit-chat becomes insignificant when you're completely consumed by your vision. The obsession you have for your goal keeps you disciplined and consistent, even when external factors try to derail you. For instance, consider a professional athlete or entrepreneur. They face constant demands on their time, energy, and attention. There are always meetings, interviews, calls, and invitations that can easily distract them from their core purpose. But someone who is obsessed with success knows that every minute spent away from the goal is a minute lost. They become ruthlessly efficient with their time, relentlessly prioritizing what aligns with their vision and saying no to everything else. This is where focus powered by obsession sets you apart. The majority of people flit from one thing to another, working on multiple tasks at once, never really diving deep into any single one. It's a form of shallow engagement. Obsession forces you to go deep. It forces you to commit to the grind, to dive into the intricacies of what you're doing, and to stay there until you've mastered it. But obsession fuels your focus through these hurdles, pushing you to finish what you started. Obsession doesn't just help you focus on the long-term goal. It also fine-tunes your attention to the small details along the way. The best performers in any field, whether in business, sports, or art, are the ones who obsess over the little things that others ignore. They know that mastery is built on small, often overlooked details, and obsession won't let them move forward until those details are perfected. It makes you mindful of every choice, every action, and every decision that could impact your progress. The power of focus fueled by obsession doesn't just apply to professional success. It applies to every aspect of life, whether it's your health, relationships, or personal development. Obsession sharpens your focus and enables you to make deliberate decisions that align with your desired outcome. When you're obsessed, you filter out the noise and stay grounded in what truly matters. In the end, obsession is the key to developing unwavering focus, because it turns your goal into an obsession that overshadows all else. It removes distractions, creates clarity, and makes success not just a possibility, but an inevitability. Without obsession, it's easy to get sidetracked and lose sight of the bigger picture. But when you're obsessed, your focus becomes laser-like, and nothing can stop you from achieving your goal. Obsession instills relentless problem-solving. This is one of the most powerful aspects of obsession. When you're deeply committed to a goal, you don't just accept obstacles, you attack them. Every challenge, every setback, and every difficulty becomes a puzzle to solve rather than a barrier to your success. Obsession doesn't let you quit when things get tough. It makes you resilient, resourceful, and determined to find a way forward. The average person sees problems as roadblocks, often feeling defeated or discouraged when faced with difficulties. They may see failure as a reason to stop, or they might give up when the solution isn't immediately clear. But obsession doesn't allow that mindset. When you're obsessed, every problem is an opportunity for growth, and you approach it with a mindset of perseverance. The more you obsess over your goal, the more you develop a solution-oriented mentality, the drive to find a way around, through, or over the problem. Think of some of the world's most successful innovators. They didn't achieve greatness because they had the best resources or the easiest path. They became great because they encountered problems and refused to be stopped by them. Consider Elon Musk and his ventures with SpaceX, Tesla, or SolarCity. Time and time again, Musk faced challenges that would have derailed most people. Rockets exploded, car production deadlines were missed, and critics flooded his work with negativity. But his obsession with making a difference in space exploration, sustainable energy, and the automotive industry didn't allow him to quit. Instead, he solved problem after problem, each failure becoming a lesson, a stepping stone toward the ultimate solution. Musk's obsession drove him to innovate, to find new ways of thinking, and to relentlessly pursue solutions in the face of adversity. Obsession makes problem-solving feel like a natural part of the journey. When you're committed to your mission, you refuse to let problems overwhelm you. Instead, you see each obstacle as an invitation to become better, smarter, and more creative. Whether you're an entrepreneur trying to grow a business, an athlete training for a competition, or an artist working on your craft, obsession pushes you to develop creative solutions to the inevitable roadblocks. Rather than getting stuck in the problem, obsession drives you to look for ways to fix it. This relentless problem-solving mindset doesn't just benefit the goal you're working on. It transforms you as a person too. You become someone who thrives under pressure, someone who enjoys the process of finding solutions, and someone who develops the mental toughness to face adversity head-on. The more you solve problems, the more resilient you become, and the more you learn. Every failure, every setback, becomes a lesson that sharpens your ability to think critically, to adapt, and to innovate. Additionally, obsession fuels creativity. It pushes you to think outside the box, to try new approaches, and to see solutions others may overlook. It's about constantly improving and finding new angles to approach a problem, rather than sticking to conventional methods.